Hey folks, today I'm going to show you a video review on my Track Dog Racing Rotrex Supercharged NB Miata. I've had the supercharger installed on the car for about a year and figured it was high time for a review and a conversation about my impressions and what the car is like. So what I'll do is I'll take you on a tour of the kit, show you a little bit about install, and then take you on a drive. All right, so this is it. And the first thing I want to clear the air on, or I guess two things I want to clear the air on. First is, the number one question that I get after I tell people I have a supercharged Miata is, why not a turbo? Because turbos will make more power under the curve and are generally assumed to be better in a lot of measurable ways. And the thing that I would answer to that is, number one, I was looking for something different. I've been around turbo Miatas for the last 10 or 15 years, and the second reason is that the friends that I have that have them are always dealing with some sort of reliability problem. We spend more time at the track fixing the car than we do driving it. Turbos backing off the studs, oiling problems. I know people have turbo cars that have been reliable with no problems, no challenges throughout their lives, but it just hasn't been my experience, so I wanted to try something different. The other thing is that this is my daily driver, and so I wanted something that was going to be low maintenance, relatively bulletproof, and be able to just provide a lot of fun in kind of driving the car. Second thing I wanted to mention is this is the Track Dog Racing kit. You can piece this kit together on your own or do all sorts of other things with the supercharger head, but I have been so pleased, and I'm not affiliated with them in any way. They didn't pay me for this review, but I have been so pleased with them as a company. I actually got the chance. They're up in Dallas, which is, just a few hours north of us here in Houston. So I got the chance to go up and meet them, and they actually let me drive one of their supercharged cars so I could feel what it was like. And I've just had such an awesome customer service experience through them. The other thing I would mention is this kit is the most complete kit I have ever seen. Every nut, bolt, if you need a packet of oil, if you need anything, they have had it in it. So let me walk through it real quick. What you have here is a C30-94 Rotrex Supercharger. This one's a little bit different than the standard one they have in the kit because I'm actually running Megasquirt for an engine computer, Megasquirt 3 P&P, which gives me a few extra benefits like being able to run the bigger supercharger head, bigger intake pipe, all sorts of stuff. But it has the two big pains associated. One is that the car does not pass emissions because Megasquirt 3 obviously does not have an OBD2 port on it, so every year, which I just completed, I spend a bunch of time swapping injectors back over and doing all sorts of stuff to get the car to pass emissions, whereas if you use the fuel and timing cards from Track Dog, the car just works. It just starts and drives and runs like a normal Miata. Also, mad props to engine tuners out there. I have learned a little bit about tuning over the last year, but I'm still super impressed by the guys and girls who are really good at it. So C30-94 supercharger head. The kit comes with all the intake piping, comes with even the heat shielding for your exhaust. I run a Racing Beat header. The kit comes with the intercooler. It comes with the oil cooler, which you may be able to peek at behind the wheel there, through the fog light. It comes with a self-contained oiling system, oil catch can, all the mounting brackets, really everything, and it was a joy to put together, and I have never seen a kit like it that is just so well thought out and so well put together. The other thing I wanted to mention was the install process. And what you see here is the book or the Bible that they give you when you buy this from Track Dog. It was a huge part of making this such an easy thing because you can see for every step, for everything, there's pictures and exact instructions, and it's so well thought out. Obviously, Gary and the crew were there to help me along the way as I made mistakes and screwed things up. But mad props to them because they were super helpful along the way, and this book was a big part of doing it. It took me about a month in my spare time, so an hour here, an hour there to install it. I think had I concentrated it and not done rust repairs and things like that along the way, it probably would have been about a weekend to get everything done. But you have the resources. It takes kind of standard hand tools. Obviously, I'm maybe shade tree quality, and so if you've never touched a wrench before, it's probably not a job for you. But beyond that, it's really easy to tackle. All right, so I figured I would take a second and start the car up and give you a feel for what it sounds like, because it is totally different than any other turbo car that I've ever driven or standard Miata. I bought the gauges and gauge mount from TrackDog, although they didn't come with the kit, because really you don't need them. But I like the peace of mind and also love to be able to just see the boost. It's kind of fun sports car-y for me. So let me start it. Again, it doesn't love warm starts. Again, Mega Squirt. Those joys, but it idles great once I get it going. And I'll take you around up front now and just show you. Really just hear the air coming out of this thing. I'll give it a little bit of throttle. You can just hear the ridiculous induction noise. So anyway, let's take it for a drive. So driving with the Rotrex Supercharger is just a real joy. I'll drive around a little bit just on some neighborhood roads here, so you can get a feel for what the car sounds like and feels like. But realistically, the Supercharger adds this big amount of noise that is totally different than kind of normal turbo induction noise. It is just a hoot to listen to, and power comes on perfectly, right? In low RPMs, you just get a little bit of extra grunt that makes it feel really good. Power is fascinating in this car because it builds around 2 psi every 1,000 RPM, which makes it really consistent, and that's what I kind of mean about that kind of constantly building surge that you feel out of an inline six that, revs real nice and high. I have my redline set around 7,200 RPM, 7,250, somewhere in that ballpark. But just around town, it's like a normal Miata, but just more powerful. Which is a real joy. This is my daily driver, and so I do commute in it. My commute has no highway in it, none whatsoever. It's about 8 miles of suburban neighborhoods and all sorts of stuff like that. And I'll tell you, I get roughly, well, if I can keep my foot out of it, the tanks average around 21 miles to the gallon, and that's with tons and tons of stop and go. But I probably average around 18 because I can't keep my foot out of it. Just because it's so much fun to kind of lay into the boost here and there and feel what that feels like, daily. In terms of reliability, the car has just been fantastic. I've had the car for about a year with the Supercharger on it. Again, I've had the car for 5 or 6 years before that, and have had zero problems, right? I've put probably 11 to 12,000 miles on it in the last year with the Supercharger. Have done road trips in it, all sorts of stuff, and have not had an ounce of trouble. I changed the Supercharger oil every 5,000 miles like it recommends. It's a little expensive. It's about $100 for a liter of Rotrex oil, which is shocking, but well worth it. And you can get a couple of changes out of a bottle, so it's not too terribly bad, especially depending on how much you drive the car. So now we're getting to a nice highway that has a 75 mile an hour speed limit, so I will pull out here and then get on the throttle and let you just hear what it feels like in like a second gear 3,000 pull. So fascinating. At redline I make roughly 14-15 psi, and it just builds as a surge. It's a wave that comes up behind you and just kind of pulls the car forward. It is a totally different feel, but it makes it really predictable to drive. I've autocrossed a bunch of different turbo Miatas and have had them in my life, and aside from the typical reliability problems and things like that, you get that punch in the face, right? You kind of get a punch in the face or punch in the gut, and coming out of turns, you're kind of waiting for that because you're going to have to course correct and correct the car and catch it. And you just don't get that with this car. It's really predictable, which makes me personally, I'm not Michael Schumacher. I'm not. I certainly have a lot of room for improvement in my driving, and it makes it just really easy to drive the car fast. And as I've said, it is just an absolute joy to commute in, to drive drive around in, and is just really, really good fun. And so I'm really thankful. You know, I haven't blown up. I run a 5-speed transmission. I haven't blown that up yet. It's just been a great setup and has just all around made the car better. It hasn't brought the car out of balance. It doesn't, you know, take forever to build boost. It is just a nice, easy, you know, it can be a cruiser, or it can really get on it and be just a joy in terms of doing pulls and getting out at autocross and all of that fun stuff. And so I've really enjoyed it. Massive thanks to the guys at TrackDog. Again, I had no affiliation with them, but they've just been super, super helpful along the way. Super nice guys, really into Miatas, really into motorsport, and you know, have just been a pleasure to work with. You know, especially being so close and local here in Texas. It's always nice. So I'm going to pull off here at this next exit, which is a I don't know if it's not defunct exit, but it's there's no road that comes off of this exit. And I'll turn around and do one more pull for you with the windows down, maybe from a stop, so you can just get a real feel for, you know, exactly how the power just comes on. But really appreciate you watching the video. If you have any questions along the way, or you're thinking about doing a Rotrex and you're not sure, let me know in the comments, and I can either do another video response, or happy to respond and answer to anything you might want to know. So thanks so much for watching, and I will go ahead and do one more pull here.